I'm just going to basically go around because I don't know if everybody knows everybody. And hey, Mike, how you doing? And I'm just going to let everybody quickly just say a few words, no more than 30 seconds, and just introduce yourselves and let people know what it is you do and who you are. I'll start off with you, Sarah.
Who?
All right.
Oh, Sarah. Okay.
So most of you know who I am. Maybe Mike doesn't.
Hi, Sarah. No, I haven't met yet.
Okay, so this is just to you. No, I'm saying. So I'm Sarah. I own Get in the Loop. What it is it's a mobile marketing platform that helps local businesses connect with the modern on-the-go consumer who's always on their phone, who's looking to save money and also support local businesses. Like I mentioned earlier when I was talking to David, I also run the Windsor chapter of Canada Learning Code. Not doing a whole bunch with that, but made time to do the National Ladies Learning Code Day this past Saturday. It was really fun, but most of my help was actually in Toronto from head office helping me out with that. So I wasn't able to get anyone from the Windsor area to help me out with mentoring and producing. So hopefully moving forward, I can do more workshops because they're super important and lots of fun and super important, especially right now in the COVID era. And actually more recently, I don't know if you knew this, David, but I teamed up with Ted Williamson and we're working on some projects to help small businesses, including our new website, Accountants 2.0. So lots of stuff on the go. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay.
I thought he'd be here tonight. I didn't ask him if he was coming, but I was.
Yeah, no, I was with him this afternoon. I think he's got some stuff on the go tonight. So
he's all the place. He's worse than me.
I know. I had to nail him down.
Right.
Kim, if you don't.
Hey, I think everybody knows me here except for Mike. Hi, Mike.
Hello.
I'm Kim Williams, and I work with the Personal Compensation Division, Penn Corp, the Personal Compensation Division of La Capitale Financial Security. And so I'm calling on all the self-employed contractors, welders, mechanics, all that in construction about unique programs that may be available to them having to do with if you're sick or injured, then there is a monthly income funding through our program.
Okay, great.
That's the 15-second version there.
You got it. Let's just, Dave just popped in, so let's, Dave, if you could just give us a quick intro. Oh, you're still having trouble.
You're muted.
Yeah, you're muted there. We don't have it. No. Lost his camera now. Looks like he's having some technical difficulties. Okay.
First time I get to see Mike's face.
Yeah, obviously mysterious. Unmute.
Okay, there you go.
Man. Hi, people. Dave Edwards, DS Travel, your one-stop travel shop. The way coronavirus is going, I'm not doing much of anything these days, but waiting for this to end. And it looks like my computer, I restarted it now, so it's up. So I'll get off this and go into my computer shortly. I guess that's about all I can say for myself right now. Just waiting for coronavirus to get under control so people can travel. That's it.
Okay. Thanks, Dave.
Thanks. I'll be back. I won't leave this until I get that.
Okay. Greg?
Hi, everyone. My name is Reverend Greg Gurniak. I'm an acupuncturist, clinical hypnotist, medical hypnotist, as well as a metaphysical minister and an end-of-life ambassador. So currently, with COVID, acupuncture's out, hypnosis is pretty much out. So is the, weddings were put on hold. So anyway, weddings are starting to come back. So that's part of what I do. And I'm also working with people that are experiencing any kind of a life-threatening illness, or now with COVID things, people are now thinking of what their end-of-life plans may be and whether they have things in order or not, and who their spokesperson maybe if they aren't able to speak for themselves for medical issues and things like that. So that's what I've been working on mostly lately.
Okay. Rohan?
Sure. My name is Rohan. I'm the owner of Connects Media. We pretty much do IT consulting, so whether it be Wi-Fi installs or security cameras for businesses, or computer repairs and building, So we've been around for a couple of years now, and so that's pretty much that. If you ever
We're gonna work on your elevator pitch.
Yeah, well, I'm always terrible at this.
Well, we'll get you better.
Yeah. Thank you.
Claudius?
Hi, it seems like I'm probably the only one that knows Mike here, and definitely know everybody else. And let's see if I've improved on what I'm doing on my speech now, on my speaking. So yes, my name is Claudius Thomas. I'm chapter leader for Black Boys Code, which we were talking about earlier. That's going quite well, helping these young kids, introduce them to the computer programming, and it's a joy watching them develop on that. I own a startup, well, I shouldn't say startup anymore, it's gone past that, Taraco Web, internet services company, which develops web applications and help companies go digital. Also, I'm not sure if any of you are aware, but as of last month, I was appointed as a client advisor to the We Tech Alliance.
I saw that. Congratulations.
Yes, so my role specifically there is going to be to advise the board on what, for WeTech to be aware of what, or become more aware of what small businesses, what startups need, small businesses that need to scale up what they need, and even mature businesses that want to grow beyond how to access resources, but yeah. So I'm going to be helping them with that.
Excellent.
And I'm going to specifically try and reach also the Black and ethnic minorities that so far they just didn't have a clue of such a thing.
Well, I'm sure you'll do a great job.
One of the examples I keep saying to people is saying, Spadina Avenue in Toronto. You go to Spadina Avenue in Toronto and you walk into RBC. The entire staff is Chinese. Why is that? Because it's Chinatown. There is no part in Canada I can imagine, Rexdale, wherever, I don't know where it's extremely black, where I'll go into a bank and I see black, that I can then sit down and say, okay, let's talk. Whether I'll be comfortable that they understand me.
I can understand that.
So
Hey,
it's things like that.
Okay.
Dave, I'm going to hang up my phone, and I'm waiting for you to let me in on my computer.
You got it.
Sure.
Thanks.
Okay, Carrie, if you don't mind introducing yourself.
Sure. So I'm Carrie. I'm the owner of a W.O.N massage therapy clinic. Actually in the middle of a transition myself. Right now we are disposing our main location, which is the Tecumseh location. And now it's just going to be me at the Diesel Drive. And I've shared the space with Aspire and Arlene Healthy Heals. And Sarah has also joined me once again. So it's just the two of us there. And I'm in the process of looking for another arm.
Oh, we're losing you there, Carrie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Desperately needed, in fact. Sorry. Did you apologize? I was driving. I forgot that I had this meeting and I missed it. Can you still hear me?
And you're cutting in and out.
Okay, I'm going to see if I can speak on handset. One moment. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Good.
Yeah, we hear you. Go ahead, Carrie.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Try this might be easier even on your eyes, just because of the thing with the driving. So yeah, so I'm just Carrie from Above and Beyond Massage Therapy, and I've now at the end of this month, and actually now we're in October, so I've closed my first location down, and now I'm in my only location, which is on Diesel Drive, and it's just myself, and I'm in desperate need of another RMT to join me. I've joined with Arlene's Healthy Heals and Aspire Laser and Skin Care. We also have a nurse practitioner. I'm still offering my same services, and I still continue to learn more. In fact, I'm also taking a class on pelvic floor issues, and I want to be a pelvic floor exercise specialist in the city. Yeah, that's where I'm at. It just tends to, this pandemic has made me pivot, and I'm going to hibernate for a little bit, and I'm going to come back even bigger and stronger after this tends to pass.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, yeah, and any of the businesses that are hands-on are just, taking a real kicking here. So the fact that you're able to, to pivot, reduce, jump in with the other ladies there and continue on is a real, attribute to your business ethic, because a lot of businesses are just closing it up and saying, we can't do anything. So I give you full marks for that one.
Well, thank you. It's definitely hard, not where I decided to celebrate my 12-year anniversary, but it's not to say that, in another 2 more years, I'm going to be celebrating by the water and a better clinic with a lot more ambition, and I have some big ideas that I'm still needing to work out. I think everyone's going to be surprised with what's in my head.
Excellent. And Mike?
Hey, hi guys. My name's Michael Hoppy. I'm from San Francisco, California, and I work with the startup GeoPogo. So I'm originally from Windsor, and I know David quite well. And so we build architectural software, specializing in augmented reality and some really cool multiplayer features we started building in. And so we sell to architecture firms, construction companies, all of the latest and emerging tech to help in their client presentations.
They do, just folks, if you ever get a chance to go into their website and check them out, they do some really cool stuff. They really do.
We've been working hard.
Okay. Well, I appreciate everybody, now that everybody knows each other. I would like to touch just, I mean, I don't want to make this a lesson tonight, but I'd like to touch on how each of you are, the main thing you're doing to keep yourselves going. Okay, both business-wise and personal. Have you, now Carrie obviously has, she used to have, I believe it was 8 or 9 RNTs working for you. And, she's had to reduce that, and she's pivoted to a new location, basically, contracting the size of her business, until COVID's over, and then coming back stronger. What are you guys doing to in this situation? It's an open board here, so.
Okay. For Turaco Web, there's I would say complete pivots. So I would say a growth. The onset of the pandemic actually brought everything to a halt, because the market that the company served was a people-facing market. Insurance companies medical facilities that scheduled appointments for accident victims to see doctors who do assessments and then generate reports of their findings to send to the insurance companies for them to actually determine how much to pay the accident victims. So those businesses were shut down in the sense that they could not see anyone until practices came into being as to how to actually see people.
But to what you did, I mean, what have you had to do to?
Yeah, so that was the businesses. Those were the businesses I was serving, in the sense that I did the software for a company downtown Toronto, and I left that company to go independent, and I was serving, I was providing ancillary services to the company, to the medical facilities, updating the software for them, doing, creating dashboards, templates, and things like that. So I do not own the software product, but they came to me for faster return rather than waiting on the software company to make changes for them. So what I now do is, with that business pretty much on hold, even though they've restarted with new policies and all that, I moved away from that, and now actually, well, first of all, I actually started to do projects to actually create applications for other companies that actually come and say, oh, we want X. But now we have in fact actually created our own, which you probably be seeing in a publication soon. We've actually done a COVID-19 application.
Okay. Okay.
So it will soon be launched and announced.
So you've narrowed your field. That's basically what you've done.
Completely changed. Yeah, just 360 degrees switch.
Okay. Okay.
Within the same sphere of IT services, but we've actually gone now into owning something rather than just serving on something that somebody else created. Now we're actually going to own. We're making something that we own.
So now,
which is a much better position to be in.
Here's a quick question for everybody. And now I know some people were already on the web. Some people already have websites where everything else. Have any of you done more with your online services, or have you focused more on, on reaching out to people more and more personal contact? Because we had a discussion the other day about that. Is it more electronic or more, hey, how you doing, that you're getting a reaction from? Oh, Kim, sorry.
We've moved online. Before our business, before COVID, it was more or less, I show up with a piece of paper in person and I say, oh, hey, Dave, here's for your program. You sign here, right? And away we go and submit it by UPS to head office, right? And so now the company has equipped us with all online presentations and online applications. And then we can send to the client and go for electronic signatures and everything if that's what they need, right? Also too, just personally, it was very difficult for me to make that switch over because, well, I'm the only agent with La Capitale down here in Windsor area. And then I'm not seeing other agents. All the offices have been closed all across Canada, for all the admin, right? And so when you call head office, you're calling someone who's working from home, right? And so, I wasn't getting out much. And so just getting out more, like getting out for a walk, getting out to, just go shopping or do something, right? And, just so I can see people. And also too, we've been mentoring the newer agents. I'm a new agent with La Capitale, only a year now, but the other agents are, but I've been a long time in the insurance industry, but the new agents, they need more mentoring because they're not going into the office. They're not seeing any, trainers or anything like that. They're not going out in person to see people. And so just helping them.
Right. And that's where something like, and something like what Greg does, and I don't know if, but with more and more people, working remotely, working more individually, Dave's over there by himself, not seeing any clients, and and I'm sure his banging his head off the wall sometimes.
I swing awfully hard at the golf ball when I get it.
Well, I don't want to jump to
My
you.
frustration takes out on that little white thing.
I guess I'm bouncing around here, but what I'm asking is, are you finding the need for the electronics, outweighs the personal connection.
Okay. So in my case, like my industry, everybody knows what the travel industry is. We're at a dead stop. We actually went backwards because people that were booked either canceled or got future travel credits. So when they cancel, they come and claw back the commission. When they have future travel credits, that commission will come someday in the future. So it's a nonprofit thing right now. I have a website, and I'm fortunate that my host company populates it for me. So these things are coming out constantly, and I'm sharing them constantly onto my personal Facebook, and just trying to keep my face in front of everybody, because at some point this thing will actually end and people will go back and travel, and they all know what they went through with the cancellations. And if you booked it yourself, good luck. I know how much fun I'm having trying to get refunds for people, months and months and hours on the phone. I don't know how much fun the individual would have, or if they'd be able to figure out a way to get through. So I'm just trying to keep my face out in front of everybody. I'm still paying my host fees, because at some point it'll come back and I'll take care of those travel credits. And I've got a cruise, a customer booked for April of 2022. So
Oh, wow.
that's when I'll get paid for it. It was somebody that had to cancel this April, and they didn't want to lose it, and they got a big bonus for taking the cruise credit. So they rebooked for 22, and so I'm here until at least 22, because there's no way I would leave them standing or leave them sitting.
Oh, absolutely.
It's really nonprofit right now. I'm a nonprofit organization. Just
you're not alone there, Dave. Unfortunately,
I know. But my industry is totally controlled by somebody else. I just saw where the CDC in the States decided that cruises are now not going to be moving until, I think, February.
Well, at least United Airlines, I just saw an article with them. They're doing a test thing where you get a 15-minute COVID test. Now, it's only run between Hawaii and some other, I forget the other location.
Well, the thing, where are you going to go? There's no place to go.
Well, what they're trying to do is this. People don't want to go to Hawaii, because if you go to Hawaii, you have to quarantine for 14 days. Who wants to spend 14 days quarantining in Hawaii, and staring out the window but not being able to experience the island you went to? So what they're doing for United is they have an experimental thing where you get a COVID test before you leave. It's a 15-minute test. If you turn out negative, they give you a form that you give on the other end, which allows you to be exempt from the 14-day quarantine, which means you can get right to you could get off the plane and go straight to the beach. This is something they're experimenting with to try and get and to try and see if they can do it on a broader scale to get at least air travel going.
Here's my question. Dominican Republic opened a couple months ago, all right, and then they closed. So the people that went are stuck there. Now they're home now, but how do you book somebody for a trip that you don't know is going to be available? They don't book it for tomorrow. They book it for next month or the month after. And these islands say, hey, we're open, come on down. And then the next day they go, but if you come down, you have to quarantine. And then the next day they say, well, we'll give you a test. And if you pass that, there's too many ifs and buts, and I can't put my customers through that. If you want to go book that and take a chance on your own, that's great. But I would not send somebody someplace that I don't know they're going to actually get there and enjoy.
Mike.
I got one for you guys. We just had a really great meeting with Airbnb. They pivoted their business to local areas. So if you go on their website, depending on where you are, they're going to promote everything within the local city, wherever your IP address is. And so where they found in pivoting their business, not so much Airbnb worldwide, they did Airbnb local. So like here in the Bay Area, if I go on Airbnb.com, they'll give me rentals for anywhere in the Bay Area. And so the thinking behind that is that tourism is going to, until we figure out a vaccine or whatever, tourism's local. It's promoting all the local things and benefits and features. So within Windsor, or maybe you drive to London or Southwestern Ontario, or Northern Ontario, but you keep it local. That's where the new market is until we get a vaccine. And then not only that, but the lag time for the population to catch back up.
Oh, yeah,
Hey,
absolutely.
but we're in October now. People don't want to go to Northern Ontario to catch the sunshine.
That's right, but there's some fun stuff on the lake.
I just wanted to say one thing. Dave, I just wanted to say that that's really reputable of you, David, about your travel. And once the travel is lifted, my husband and I are definitely going to contact you, because you're just the way you've just explained yourself. It gives us confidence in your accountability.
Yeah, I'm not going to put anybody in a bad situation. And like I said, if I book somebody for Mexico in January and then something happens, then we're back into, future travel credits and cancellations, and it's a nightmare.
It's a mess for the traveler. It really is.
I've gone on the phone, sat on hold for 2 hours, and then I get, I'm sorry, but due to the number of calls, we can't take your call right now. Try back later. And that happens like constantly. And that's me. I've got the direct line.
Yeah.
I shudder to think what anybody out there is doing if they're on their own.
It's been interesting, like even like here in the state, people are going, it's all like inter-province, interstate travel now. So like people aren't going to Vegas, they're going to the Redwoods, or they're going to
it's true.
It's inner local travel is booming through the roof, so much so that they have to shut down the forests. So you have to pay attention to that, what the human behavior is doing and how you adjust yourself to apply to that behavior. And I imagine for Ontario, it's much the same. People are going to local areas.
It's a little bit different because truthfully, my wife and I were just a week or so ago. We're looking at something to do, but everything is shut down. I mean, if you want to go to, like, if you want to rent a cottage, that you can do. It's there. But if you wanted to go to any kind of, of course, the amusement parks are shut down. Any of the more interesting, activities. Unfortunately, I'm not a water skier. I'm not a beach bunny. Not with this body. I wouldn't want to scare people. But there's unfortunately, if you're into the outdoors, which you have to be at this point in time, I guess. Yes, absolutely. Inter-province, travel and stuff like that. It is one thing to do. Unfortunately, like where you are, the weather is warm.
Right.
Wet and warm all the time.
It's very warm. It hasn't rained for months.
Oh, okay. But here,
we're hot right now. It's hot down there right now, I hear.
You need the rain right now, though, Mike.
Oh my gosh, the forest fires! Like the sky was red today.
Oh yeah,
It's very upsetting for forests. The poor state's going to turn into a desert. But
yeah, you guys are getting hammered with those. You got what two large ones burning right now?
I have a friend who lives 35 miles away from from one part of a fire, so they're on standby to be moved by military.
Yeah, Napa got hit real bad.
I think she's near Napa.
Yeah, Napa got bad, it'll go back.
Oh, absolutely. Now, just a quick question. I was looking at a paper we were talking the other day on a Zoom, and when I asked people, what they thought about, the best way to get themselves out there, their businesses out there, social media came, first. Everybody said, you got to be on social media. You got to push the social media. You got to, that's where it's all at, But surprisingly enough, and I'm going to share this with you. Hang on. Let me hit the share button. Let's see if we can share that. Can you guys see that? Oh, hang on. Did I lose it?
Yeah.
There we go. Social media was third on the list. Now, this comes from a very reputable source. They did a poll last year, or a couple years ago, basically saying you have to have, the website is the top thing. You have to have a website. You have to be on there. Greg, I don't know if you have a website for your business or not, but everybody, email came in next. Now, I found that a little hard to swallow myself. I've always really not had good response with emails. Social media was third on the list. Word of mouth, of course, and even print came above. Was like fifth down on the list.
Yeah.
Do you guys find that would be accurate for your businesses?
I can jump in really quick. So the way the modern sales funnels are going is, unfortunately, it's social media, because you got to drive traffic to your website, and a website by itself ain't going anywhere. So you need social media to drive the funnels. The challenge is you got to be really good at social media, and you got to know what people want, and you have to know how to be. It's not that you have to be influential; it's that you have to give people value. And what I see a majority of businesses do wrong is they just purport their services. They just purport the service, or they say this is what we do, and people don't care because we're consuming content so fast.
Oh yeah, it's insane.
We don't care. So. A little tidbit on LinkedIn. There's an angel investor, and he started giving advice, little quick 30-second videos on creating your deck, or how to raise, or things like this. His statistics, his engagement is through the roof because he's giving away value for free. It's what's driving the funnel into his channel. So I find for a lot of businesses, it's more give away free value, give away content that's meaningful, and you'll drive traffic to your business or your service, whatever you do. But you got to give away free content that matters to people.
Now, does your business do that, Mike?
No, we
don't take our own advice. Wait a minute here. You don't have to. You don't have to.
You don't have to.
No.
We've worked on an influential marketing strategy where we simply show off the product. In our case, it's 3D and it's interactive and it's super fun. So that's worked out quite well.
Right.
We've taken on more of the gaming method of advertising, which is you show the product and it's, in all its fun and engagement, and then people drive through based on their interest. So there's not much tips and tricks you could say we could engage with.
Right. Yeah. Yours is more interactive on its own, so people are just going to be entertained simply by watching it. Whereas, if you're talking about, coding or something else like that, it's not.
Can I come into that, because I can certainly back up what Mike has said. What has clearly raised my profile is social media interactivity. At the beginning, I was actually, social media, no, that's for young. I've been in industry so long, I don't need that. That's for younger folks. I was absolutely against going to learn. I didn't even know what it meant. But I then reached a point where I accepted, you know what, I must understand what this is about. So I started learning and doing, and to the point where I said, okay, LinkedIn is what it is, what I need, because I provide service to business. I'm a business to business. So, and now at the point where I do not go a week without posting on LinkedIn, and then also put something on Facebook to engage both sides.
Now that's an excellent question, though, because I am, as most people here will know, I am an online.
Too much,
Yes.
too much, David. Too much, way too much.
I like to share information, and that's a question here. How many posts a day or a week do you think is a reasonable amount?
One a week.
One a week?
Don't flood your people.
Yeah, yours is way over the top. Sometimes I think I'm gonna start blocking you, but then I know you, so I don't.
Yeah.
It is way over the top.
Like, for example, Reverend Greg, you'd mentioned hypnosis and a number of other things. One thing we're all collectively dealing with is kind of how to stay sane. this has been a tough year for a lot of people, and giving tips on things like that,
Yeah.
or how to just like mental health, or meditation tips, or somebody does massage therapy. I don't know if she came off, but for example, I sit all day working and my back is on fire, and I've been searching for stretches and yoga to relieve my back. Little tips like that, like those are things that engage us, is that free content that then drives
Correct.
the situation. Claudius, free coding tips.
Yeah.
C Sharp, Java, I don't know.
Yeah, well, one of the things I do a lot is I actually republish interesting stuff.
Yeah.
And I get a lot of, and I do go back and check on the views and clicks, and Google now actually I seem to have grown organically, that Google is now sending me my reports, and I go through, so it is happening, that so much that Google is letting me know that, oh, this is happening with your, with my, what's happening with my website, what's happening with my responses. So, and also even, after a while, I'll go back into LinkedIn, and something I posted maybe months or weeks ago, I'll go and repost it because it's become relevant again. And I get, and also the other thing is to comment on a lot of, comment on stories by other people that are of interest.
Yeah.
And do that. And then I learn certain things, like when you post something yourself, mention other people's name. It exponentially increases your views of people that actually take on board what you're saying. So I've now started giving thanks. I give thanks to this person. I praise. I give, bang. That's what you get more.
Well, let's just go around the room here and see, just real quick. How about if we each give like one trick or one thing you're doing with your website or social media to try and keep yourself relevant in this flood of information? Greg?
I'm not, in all honesty, right now, doing anything on social media, really. I've got a website, I'm on LinkedIn. I just haven't been posting anything because I've just been busy trying to keep up and I'm doing other learning activities currently so that I can move forward in the future.
So could you post one thing a week?
Oh yeah, and I think I certainly can. And Mike brought up some good points. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I guess one of my questions was, should that be in a written format? Should that be in an audio format? Should it be in a video format? All of the above, none of the above.
Yeah,
video is best, but a lot of the time is text works, but video is number one.
Yeah, I've seen all three work successfully.
Yeah.
Videos are nice because you just kind of turn it on and you do whatever you want. But people don't mind blogs. If the headline is catchy enough, a blog works sufficient. As long as the headline tells me as a reader what value I'm going to get from reading it, it'll work. And it's unfortunate what's happened in today's world, because I like to believe it wasn't how it was 10, 20 years ago, but we've become very selfish on social media. So it's like, if there's nothing in it for me, then why am I going to read it? And, it's unfortunate, but it's just human nature, really just completely just taken off in an insane way. If you watch
all the information in the post, or do you just put a little teaser bit of information and then drive them over to your website?
That's right.
Yes.
As short as possible. Yeah, your headline needs to tell basically what's in it for them for reading this. So like, what am I going to get out of it? Say like 5 tips for dealing with mental health in this crisis, or 5 tips for self-care. There, use self-care. Everyone loves that word. Right?
Basically, Greg, when you're going through MSN or any of the news feeds, you read the articles that the headlines tend to catch your interest. Mm-hmm. So you have to think that way. As Mike said, it has to be very descriptive but short. you know, and something that, you know, something that's relevant at that time.
Let me give a good example. Actually, I'm in LinkedIn a lot now. I even use the Sales Navigator to get emails and all that to communicate with people. And so I'm monitoring, and then noticing that I get activities, responses, views, but there's one number that was always at zero. That's zero. I'm thinking, why is it? What, you know, I'm really struggling. Why is this not moving? I'm doing a lot of posts. You know, but this one, I said, okay, let me put a post and ask, what does it take to make this move? Bang, responses. It was crazy.
Yeah.
I got the answer I wanted. I got the numbers I wanted.
Yeah, it's a psychological game. It's insane.
Just hang on for a second, just real quick
I
here.
have a great idea too.
Greg?
Like you're into meditation and everything, for instance, right? So how about the top three, in your opinion, the top 3 meditation experts in the world?
Yeah, absolutely.
Deepak Chopra. Have you looked into David G, right? Or you know, somebody who's doing meditation, a lot of meditation videos, and how to, you know, click onto their sites or whatever and find out more about them. And people would just like boom, 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 right? And then they're gonna go, this guy making the suggestions, right? So they're gonna look at what you're doing too, right?
The challenge is, you know, we're about to move into a new economy. There's a really good book I recommend called Homo Deus. Like write it down or search it. And he writes what's going to happen in the next 10, 15 years. And you can already tell what's happening is the days of working at the big corporations, Ford, GM, Chrysler, you know, any conglomerates is dying very, very quickly. And we're all forced to become either startup owners, small business. And the problem is that we all have to niche ourselves.
We were just having that conversation at lunch.
Yeah. And there's too many people for one particular massive niche, right? And that's what we're faced with is there's so much noise. How do you make yourself stand out and matter? But there's so much noise. That's the crazy part is social media is so noisy. How do you stand out?
And that's what it is. And COVID has made that worse. Because now you've got everybody's doing a Zoom, everybody's doing a podcast. Everybody wants to be heard because their old style way of being heard is now gone. Yeah. So now they're screaming at the top of their lungs trying to get, you know, attention, and it's just become one cacophonous, you know, jumble of white noise. What we're doing is, I was actually just recently I was contacted a few writers. We're looking at putting together a entrepreneurial magazine focused on older entrepreneurs, just for the reason that you're talking, Mike, because businesses are shifting. Ford's laying off, you know, GM's laying off. Other companies are shutting down. There's people who are leaving a career or a job that they had before. Older entrepreneurs have a little bit of financial backing to them. Statistically, they tend to last, you know, longer in business because they don't have they're not starting a new family. They have the house or they have investments to go with. They're a little bit more mature, you know, in how to handle their businesses. They have a skill. They just don't know how to run a business. Yeah. So that's a market that we're going to be focusing on, mainly because I'm an old guy myself. You know, and I can understand where you know, how they're coming and where they're coming from. So yeah, there's definitely creating a niche market for what you're doing, or what you want to do is going to be, you know, and is very important. You, Greg, have a nice, you know, area there. And I wouldn't sit back. I mean, I know that sometimes it's hard to, you know, look at the situation and see what you can do. But just like Carrie, you know, sometimes you have to, you know, really change the structure, the way you think, and go outside the box, you know, to you know, keep things going. But definitely get on there and start, you know, posting once a week, twice a week with topics. Here's some stuff, a blog that we run through the network. You know, the top one's something, you know, fighting entrepreneur burnout and depression. You know, this is a thing that, you know, it's the headline says everything, and hopefully people will read it. You know,
Yeah, because the main theme of it is that it needs to be educational and that you're sharing. You know,
Yeah.
which is the point that Mike.
But you're supplying value, as Mike said.
Yeah, value. You say, you know, something
just
for
don't
you
put
to
out
be
crap
aware
to
of.
put out crap. Like just put something out. Don't.
No,
Yeah,
I mean,
make sure it's
write something solid. Write something either write or you know, or it's okay to even grab other articles. You know, preferably it's better if you do it yourself. But it's okay every now and then to grab another article and, you know, put that in there as well. But yeah, make sure that whatever you're putting in there isn't just filler.
I mean, some of the positive things that, or some of the messages I put out that even get some of the highest views and likes and feedbacks and reads, or when I actually comment or we post positive development in some parts of the third world, for example, where I've seen a couple of stories. I saw a story where there's a group of women entrepreneurs who started, they came together in West Africa, in a West African country, to actually do solar, to use solar, use solar energy to provide electricity into some village where they came from. And I reposted that, and that just went crazy in terms of number of people that read that and gave it thumbs up and likes, etc.
Right. And sorry, I was going to say, Claudius, one of the reasons for your, you know, a lot of the success you've had is the niche that you've gone into. When you hit Black Boys Coding, that's a pure niche.
Went crazy.
That's a pure niche.
Crazy.
It's a perfect. It's a hammer hit the nail niche. You got it right there.
In fact, you know what it's done? It's actually created a branding for me.
Yeah.
Oh,
wherever I go, I'm asked to talk about it. Wherever I go, I'm asked to talk about it.
I mean, not that you don't know your stuff, but you know, WeTech, you know, came and knocked on your door
because of that.
Because of that. You know,
they recognize the power of the fact you niche. It's not that you do coding; it's that you do Black Boys coding.
Yep.
And that's it. That's the core right there. Is when you niche, it's what category do you own, and you own the category of Black Boys coding, and that's what we're all searching for. Is what is your core category? That's what everybody has to go into. So you grab that when you hit that on the nail and run with it. Take it.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And that's what, like you said, Mike. That's what every business wants. You know, they want to be recognized for, you know, that thing. You know, you think of all the big companies, and I don't care what company you think of, top 5 companies that suddenly come to your brain, and you're going to divide that into one particular, you know, category. You know. So I mean, yeah, it's not an easy thing to do. It really isn't. I mean, a lot of businesses will search for years
and
before
Black
they
Boys
actually
Code is
nail it
pure.
down.
And Black Boys Code is pure accident. I mean, I didn't say, oh, that's my thing. It's just that I saw the head office in Vancouver, and I kept seeing this thing on Facebook, and I contacted them, and they said, oh, they so want to open in Windsor. I thought, oh, sure, yeah, I can commit to that, you know. And we planned lunch, and that's it.
Yeah.
Rohan he's kind of buried here because he does tech work. Okay, he does wiring and he does security and everything else. And there's, you know, 100 other businesses that do the exact same thing. So, you know, that's what. You know, and he's just started started producing like this business. And I think he started beginning just the end of September. You just started.
So yeah, I just started end of September, but before that I was doing other things, you know, graphic design, printing, that kind of stuff. So I've kind of transitioned over, but yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, really, what you have to do is exactly what we're talking about right now. Is you know, find something that makes you stand out from the other 99 people doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
You know, whether it be, you know, a service you supply, or, you know, whatever information you supply or whatever, but you really have to make yourself stand out. You guys were doing the videos, you know, and you were trying to stand out that way. You know, that's something you might want to continue with, but only from your business aspect. you know.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah.
But now, Mike, what do you guys? I mean, you're in a niche market all on your own. You're doing 3D stuff there, but I mean, it's a broad market, but it's also a defined market.
Yeah.
Do you guys focus on one particular aspect?
That's right. Yeah. So, we had this epiphany about a month ago, I'll say. We've done a lot of great work in augmented reality. It hasn't hit the public in a major way, but what we do with the technology is we digitally project buildings on site. So we've been fortunate to take a lot of the major tech companies, their new campuses, and we digitally project them, the 3D models, using headsets. And you can use your iPhone and your iPad. They're very powerful. And but somebody's got their Claudius, that's you.
What?
Something in the background there?
Oh, sorry. Okay.
So we've done a lot of great presentation work, and we ended up doing a presentation to a company called W.O.N Construction. They're one of the largest in the US. And they brought their whole BIM team onto the meeting call with us, and we're presenting, showing them everything they can do. And because we didn't niche the particular aspect of what we were doing, they obviously came back with, well, how are you different than the other competitors in your field? How are you different than the 30 other augmented reality companies that exist in the world? And when that happens, you're kind of screwed, because what ends up happening is you fall into a trap where you start saying your benefits and features versus the other companies, or how you're different from the other companies. And because we're all mentally up here and we're not actually experiencing the technology, it's a moot point in the conversation. It doesn't matter if we say, well, with using our software, you can get that building projected in 5 minutes, or you can share that building with anybody in the world, or it just doesn't matter. These things, it's already lost on the prospect's mind. Now, we got lucky and we saved it, and we ended up making the sale. But it really brought me back to the focus of, you need to niche up front. So it's not specifically that you're an AR company for architecture. What is it specific about AR that you are niched within, so that when the prospect comes to you, they know automatically what category you're in, so they can differentiate you from anybody else that's in the marketplace, and you don't fall into that conversation trap.
And that makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's what you always. That's what you always want to do. Like
totally.
Claudius, I'm gonna keep picking on you because when I heard it, when I saw the news media, I clapped, dude. I was in my backyard having a beer, and I stood up and clapped because I was like, there it is. There's one. Picked it up in a second, and what's really brilliant about niching like that, it's not just that the news article said it was coding, or that it was coding for boys, or that he was doing. You could complicate that message in a very long description, but the fact that the 3 core words, black, boys, coding,
that tells you everything.
Niche right there. And he, for as far as Southwestern Ontario is concerned, he's set.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So, and the thing is, actually, when it comes to the niche marketing or niche behavior, I can even say that I've consistently been that way, because from when I went independent in early 90s in the UK, I actually focused my clients, my market was music industry. I was actually doing copyright and licensing software to record companies and music publishers. So I understood their business processes, and I supplied the software to them, and there was no marketing required for me, because
the thing is, Claudius, is that's a big area. You've taken a big area and narrowed it down to a very fine point. And it's a point that really resonates.
Yeah, no. The point I wanted to make there is that in that time, for example, there were 2 scales. There was the large companies, your MCAs, etc., that ran a big software on mainframe computers, and then there was another music group that actually used that had clients pre-networks, where the piece one software ran on one desktop computer. But then we had this thing called networks. So I then came in with a piece of software that actually ran on a file server serving multiple desktops. So the market was bang, clear. There was no competition in it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then coming into Canada now, doing this software for the insurance accident victims, again, that was, Intact Financial came in and said, can you guys do this software for us? Now, Allstate, State Farm, all of these companies are using it. I created that application. Unfortunately, not for me. I wish it was for me. It's for a software company that I worked for, and then I left them. But the service providers around the insurance companies, when I left, they called on me to actually do all of these different services for them. Okay, so again, I was used to working with niche, understand the business process. It's easy for them to come to me because I understand the business process from which I created the application.
Well, see,
Okay,
see, Sarah, Sarah could do this, could do and probably should do the same type of idea. You're doing coding with women, and I'm surprised that it's not getting as big a response as as I think it should. I don't know if that's a marketing issue or just a regional issue or.
Yeah, like it's a resource issue. I have to take care of myself first. So it's a charity, right? Like that's really the main thing right now. I need to take care of me again so that I can focus more on.
Okay, I didn't realize it was a charity. I thought that was an actual business model.
Yeah, it's not for profit. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I put a book in the description link. I highly recommend its read. You can do it in it's a 3-day book. It's called Positioning, and you'll be able to walk into any store and really see how companies are differentiating.
Is that you in the background again, Claudius?
That's you, my man. There you
go. Okay. I'd like to try and keep these to an hour because it just, we're going to have more of them coming up. I think doing one specifically on niche marketing would be good. Not only, why you should do it, but how you should do it and ways to market it. I think that would be a great feed for everybody. I think that everybody should really think about, the ways that they can do it. Dave, just you right now. I mean, I don't know the market. I don't know your business. I don't know the market. So I could be just blowing wind here. But, if being an older guy yourself, like myself, if you could aim your travel business at an age range that made sense and really narrow down your business. I don't know if that's possible for your business, if it makes a financial sense. I know there was a lady who I used to know, her name was Laura. She ran Laura's Travel, and she catered to older retired individuals, and that was her whole focus. Bus trips, vacations, whatever, but her whole thing was focused on, on the retiree. And she did quite well because the retirees, had the money and wanted to spend it and wanted to travel. She set up, bus trips to the States, to plays, to whatever else. She did, and she traveled with them, of course. So she got a free ride, which was nice for her. But yeah, I mean, doing that type of thing, I think might help your business. At least in my mind, like I said, I don't know your business, so maybe that might not work for you. But we could actually, we could put something together and kind of talk and see if we can give some ideas to individuals. I'm going to read that book there, Mike, and see if is there anyone that you would recommend on creating a niche market or the creation of? Is there anything that you can think of offhand?
There's a whole number of books. That's a great one, the one I just suggested.
Okay.
That's a really good one. He really talks up the importance of it's not so much that it's niche marketing, that's not the point, but it's really about putting the particular product or service in its own category so you can stand out from the competition to begin with, so you're not a me too product in the eyes of the prospect, because then you're stuck on benefit, costs, and features. You know, are you cheap, or are you fast, or what's different about this? And once you get stuck in that, you're not going anywhere.
Right.
So it's really on positioning, and he gives a lot of great examples of companies that successfully positioned from where they weren't before.
Okay. Well, I'm definitely going to make sure I read that one. Absolutely. Okay. Well, thanks everybody for coming tonight. I hope we got a little bit of helpful information. Was there anything anybody wanted to say before we take off?
I just wanted to say that I really enjoy listening to everyone talk about what they're doing and everything. I really enjoy going to networkings and just keeping my thumb on what people are doing. Because when I see someone, they might not necessarily be a client for me, but they might be a client for you. And
Absolutely.
I'm just a massive referral person.
Well, that's great. No, I mean, that's the way it works. That's the way I hope the network that we have here, will does work and will continue to work. Is that people get to know each other, and I've thrown people Dave's way. I don't know if they've ever gone to him, but I've thrown people Dave's way. There's other people that I've thrown into marketing and taxes and whatever else, and that's the whole thing. It's just basically getting to know people, as Sarah said, or sorry, it was Carrie who said about Dave, and she just from what Dave, that one sentence Dave said there, you've got a new client, and she's obviously, if somebody's going to be doing a trip in the future, she's going to recommend Dave. So that's the whole thing here. It's just.
That's what my business is based on, service. I mean, you can go, there's hundreds of travel agents, and you can go anywhere and get a travel agent. If I service the heck out of you, hopefully you'll come back and tell people about me.
And absolutely, that's the bottom line for any business there.
Sarah just said the same thing. She's going through an experience, trying to get a refund right now. That's something that I do. I take care of all that for my clients.
Yeah.
Well, I got to take something to Walmart. Can you do the refund?
I actually can, Dave.
There you go. There's a new business. Waiting in line at Walmart, doing refunds.
I got a quick question, Dave.
Sure.
Do you ever take train trips or arrange train trips? Like when you think about this whole COVID thing, how many people would love to just go north, a couple hours or whatever, get off for the afternoon and have lunch or something, and then get the train back?
Well, it's funny you should mention that, because today, and when
I'd go.
You were talking before about, what do you do to promote yourself? Today, like, I'm lucky because most of my stuff is populated by my host company. So today, this beautiful picture came out of all these wonderful fall colors.
Yep.
So what I do with that is I share it, and I just add a little thing on the top. Has anybody ever been to Agawa Canyon, just outside of Sault Ste. Marie?
Yep.
And if you haven't been there, it's something you got to see. That's the postings that I do, because that's local. That's something you can drive to. We have family on the East Coast. We can't drive there because you're not allowed to go. You're not allowed to go out west.
Right.
There's restrictions everywhere you go outside of your own area.
Yeah.
No, and that's perfect. That's exactly what we were talking about earlier, Dave, is giving a little bit of value to people. They're just seeing a beautiful picture and going, hey, yeah, maybe we could do that.
And most of my posts are, someday this is going to end, and when it does, let's go here and see this.
Well, I'm going to throw something out before I go. Because basically I'm putting together something. It's not a business. It's just something I'm doing for Windsor. I've created a website called Picture This Windsor. And I've got some Steve Bureau and Gene Schilling and Milo and a few others. It's going to be a website with videos and images donated by local photographers to basically highlight the Windsor area. So if you know anybody who's a photographer who does good work, I'm basically going to put it on there. It's just a positive there's so much negativity out there nowadays. I felt like doing something positive for the community. So I'm going to be running the website there. It's not quite finished. It's a work in progress. I'm hoping to have it up and running by the end of the month. But yeah, it's just something that I'm doing myself to help myself through this COVID thing, and just, you know, do a little positivity and keep myself in a better mind frame and give back to the community. So I'm just going to say that if you take pictures or know anybody who's a good photographer, send them my way.
There's a young lady, I can't remember her, Gittolini or something, has a group on Facebook, and it's Windsor Essex County History. And she puts I put some photos into there, postcards and stuff, like older stuff.
Yeah.
But
yeah, well, the thing is, what I want to try and do though is I want to just not just put pictures up. I want to help promote the photography and photographers in the area. So what I'm going to do is, if somebody donates a picture to the website, we'll put a link to either their Facebook or their website, so that if somebody comes on and sees the pictures and likes their work and wants to possibly connect them with them, they can just hit there. There's no charge for it. This is just a free thing that people can do, just to help promote, you know, video and photography in the area, and to help promote Windsor and Essex County for people who live in the area and people who, you know, possibly want to come here. So that's just something I'm working on right now. That was an aside thing. Anyways, we're going to cut it off here because we're at an hour and 14 minutes. I'm going to start trying doing these every other week. So I will let you guys know when the next one is, and hopefully you can join us again. Well, if some of us have read the book, we can chat about the book and throw out some ideas.
Are you going to use the same link, or are you going to send a new link out every time?
No, I'm just going to use the same link.
Okay, I'll put that on file.
Yeah, it'd just be easier for everybody.
Okay.
Okay, so you guys have a great night. And
nice seeing everybody.
We will talk to you very soon.
Thanks for the tips.
Everybody.
Oh,